think you should double down on who you already are, what you already done, and actually believe that all of your actions, all of your inputs will play out, because they will. And if you have faith in it, and if you actually ask yourself, what is the best thing that could happen, you would find the evidence of it coming your way. Your energy will actually match your reality. And so believe in that will pay off 100%. Maybe not in the way you expect, but we don't really know what's possible. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen today. Stop pretending like you know. Hello, and welcome to the Across Time Zones podcast.
I am Mira.
And I'm Victoria.
And we're best friends, ex-roommates, theater co-creators. And this year we happen to end up on different continents.
And it's not happening for the first time in our lives, but I think in the last 2 months since we've been apart, we've been feeling like imposters in a way that we had to deal with some things we've never dealt before. And so today we'd really want to talk about the huge aspect of what it is to be an imposter and why you should actually embrace the imposter syndrome.
I'm trying to change my industry where I work from IT technology to theater, because theater is where my heart is. And, I saw moving to Canada as a great opportunity to be in an English-speaking country, to finally engage in English-speaking theaters. And I've sort of been applying to different opportunities since the beginning of this year. But so far, I got only one reply for a theater festival, but at the same time, I know I've put a lot of effort in my applications. I know that I am really passionate about it. I've been putting out theater content on my social media, on my Instagram, but still it feels like I'm not seen. Every time I apply and I don't get an answer, I feel, am I even good enough? I'm not wanted. I don't feel wanted. I don't feel like I am good enough, and maybe I can't really even do these things. Maybe I can't even really do social media strategy for a theater, but it's crazy because I have been doing it for 5 years. Yeah, I've been doing that for a tech company, but at the same time, this is a transferable skill.
I think that you're experiencing the imposter syndrome in a way that you do not acknowledge how much you've already done, and you feel discouraged because you don't see the results of whatever you're doing and the work that you're actually putting in, and you're putting in a lot of work. And so I think the first thing that you should do whenever you feel like you're not good enough, when you start to do something new, is to actually step aside and look and better actually write it down, everything that you've already done in order to attract that new reality of yours. And usually people don't just do actions, they change how they feel, they identify differently. And you have been identifying differently as the person who actually has this other job, has this other creative expression in life, and your actions were aligned with that. So I think the first thing that you should start with is generally look back at everything that you've done. And if you think about it, every time, and I talk to Mira every single day, and she says something like, oh, I actually didn't do much today. I just applied for this theater. And, tomorrow I have this workshop, but I feel like I'm not doing enough. And I'm like, girl, you accelerated your actual involvement in all of those things, not twice, not even 3 times, I think 6 times more than you used to 2 months ago. And so just by acknowledging that, I think you should double down on who you already are, what you already done, and actually believe that all of your actions, all of your inputs will play out, because they will. And if you have faith in it, and if you actually ask yourself, what is the best thing that could happen, you would find the evidence of it coming your way. Your energy will actually match your reality. And so believe in that will pay off 100%. Maybe not in the way you expect, but we don't really know what's possible. And the things that are coming our way, maybe the things we did not expect to be so. Or some things, for example, are in preparation, kind of like the job that you want is still in cooking, or someone is having the job and needs to quit in order for you to get that position, Or some position is just kind of is going to get emerged. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen today. Stop pretending like you know. And so the imposter syndrome, I feel like lots of people are afraid of that, but I think you should be thrilled about it, and you should be looking towards it, because you don't know what's possible, and it scares the hell out of you because your brain wants to be certain of everything that is coming your way. But in reality, that's amazing not to know, because if you don't know, there are extreme amount of possibilities that can unfold. And yeah, both quote unquote bad and good, but what if you actually prime your brain to ask, what is the best thing that could happen? And actually have faith every single day you wake up. You don't know how the day is going to unfold, what kind of opportunity or person will come your way. And so if you think about it, maybe yet you have not got that job, but you have already done things that actually brought results.
It's actually crazy because I was just saying that, yes, for 3 months I've been applying and then I haven't felt seen. But something really interesting happened a couple of days ago. So one of the theaters that I really love here in Toronto, it's called Soul Pepper Theater, and I've been sort of going to all of their plays thanks to my amazing partner who brought me there and who introduced me
Shout
to that
out, we're
theater.
not gonna mention your name.
So yeah, he brought me to the theater and I immediately fell in love with it. And then I saw that this theater is doing really lots of cool things for the community engagement and they really are passionate about it. So on Monday, they were doing artistic introductions where their creative team is open to public for anybody, any artist who wants to introduce themselves, pitch a project or whatever. There wasn't really certain guideline. It was more so like to get to know you as a creator. And I had no idea who I was going to meet. I knew artistic team, but I did not know who these people were going to be. I came in there and we had a really amazing chat with associate creative director and their arts administrator. And you know what? I felt seen for the first time. They just asked me to introduce myself and I said, I just moved to Canada and I really want to get involved with Canadian theater. And they told me about all these amazing opportunities. They're like, oh, we're going to put you in touch with this person and that person. You're interested in documentary theater. Okay, we know this person who's doing that.
Already, like, you don't
And
know
I was
where
like,
it's gonna...
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole fact that, they listened to me and they heard my story and they're like, yeah, we get you. We understand you. It's crazy that one opportunity led to another. And then they told me about their library that they have. They told me I could come to this theater and read anytime. Like, I've never met these people before in my life. But the moment I just entered the room, it was full of this community love and presence. And I felt seen for the first time. In one of my videos, I was talking about my theater experience that I had when I was just a teenager. I went to the theater group for the first time and I felt like it was my family. And I thought that this is the feeling that I'm never going to get ever again. And you know what? Whatever I experienced a couple of days ago at Soul Pepper Theater during artistic introductions was very close to that. I was very impressed. It's just like, I met these people 15 minutes, theater people. So it's like, there's literally no opportunity that materialized so far, but just my feeling of finally being seen is what I was thriving for. I didn't tell you about this experience, so this is the first time I'm telling you.
Mira used to tell me of the fear that you had of what if I would never experience the same feeling that I got from my theater group back in my hometown, which was more than 10 years ago, that you always had this thrive towards a community and towards theater and community theater, obviously. And you did everything from your side to bring yourself closer to actually experiencing that. And you know what? Whatever has happened to you a couple of days ago, that is literally the result of the input that you brought into whatever that you wanted to find, like the theater community. So basically you didn't know how, you didn't know that that's going to be the day you actually going to feel that feeling again. But you did, because you did the work. You actually started to be much more unapologetic with how you feel and what you do, and you rewired your actions and brain in order to attract that kind of reality. And so you did. So yeah, maybe you don't have that job, but it's one of the goals that you had, but not all of those goals that you had. And you were kind of after the feeling rather than the thing. And you started to get that feeling. And I think as soon as you actually start to get the feeling, things start to unfold. So usually it goes like, you might feel like you're in the season of waiting and it's just complete silence. And then boom, suddenly everything starts to flow your way. And it doesn't necessarily come like within 2 days, but it can come within a month. By the time that episode will air, who knows? Like, you can be living completely different reality.
She already has it.
Yeah.
It's true. No, really, what you're saying, I totally agree with that. And as I keep on saying, once again, no input, no output. You could be applying and you could, trying to get into different opportunities, but you keep on receiving rejections. You can get frustrated and just not do anything. And then there's going to be no outcome whatsoever, or you can continue and you never know where that specific opportunity will lead you. So one opportunity leads to another. You never know how it's going to play out. And I have seen that working in my life so far. So I know it's easy to get frustrated. Like this morning, I got a rejection from one of the companies and I was frustrated, but not with the company itself. I was frustrated more with the fact that it's been a year and I've been actively trying to change my day-to-day life, but it hasn't happened yet. But, I'm like, yeah, I can give
Well,
up and
no,
do
your
nothing.
day-to-day life has
I mean,
changed. You
okay,
just
yeah, well,
haven't changed the
professionally.
workplace. Yeah.
Honestly speaking, it's easy to give up, but
Oh,
to
yeah.
keep on going and to keep on pursuing and to keep on changing your ways is more difficult, but it's more rewarding at the end. And you never know how it's going to turn out. But as you said, you don't have to be attached to the outcome so much. You just have to know the feeling that you want to get. And
Mm-hmm.
eventually you're going to get there one way or another. If your heart, you know, is itching and it wants to lead you in a certain direction, go there, pursue that thing, but don't be attached to the outcome.
Yeah, yeah. Like I would say detach from how big that thing is. Because usually when you start something new, because your brain doesn't know how to deal with that, because you feel like a newbie, you have no idea how to deal with
Yeah.
this kind of
Imposter.
experiences. Yeah, you put a huge pressure on how big that thing is. When in reality, what if you were actually like a pro? Imagine you knew how to deal with that new thing that you're currently dealing with. You would probably be much more chill about it. Like you would probably be less stressed, and hence when you're less stressed, you actually perform better. You're more creative, you are much better in decision making, and so you actually deal with that new reality much better. But if you put so much pressure on, I don't know how to do that, and I'm already supposed to be pro in that, eventually feel incredibly stressed, your
Mm-hmm.
vision is narrowed, and you avoid actually embracing that new change. Because like the imposter syndrome literally means that you've leveled up. It means that you ultimately are worth being there. So you deserve to
It's
be
also
in
the
this new
work
level
you
and
did
feel the
in the
imposter
past.
syndrome. The embracing of new things in life is better than coming back to whatever had been before. It's actually harder to stay in the same place. And I'm gonna mention right now the phrase that I actually wrote down. I saw that yesterday on TikTok and I really liked it. And I was like, oh, that's gonna match our episode. The phrase sounds like, a big part of who I am is who I am not anymore. Like I'm going through imposter syndrome and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should go back and don't put myself in those kind of risky to your brain uncertain situations. But the thing is, going to the past, you would already feel like an imposter. You don't belong there. The fact that you've already leveled up, that you got to that new level, that you moved cross countries, that you got this new position, new job, new opportunity, that means you are already not a match for how you used to be.
To add something to what you were saying about not knowing how to do things, you gotta be okay with making a fool out of yourself whenever you start doing something. And even when you've been doing something, like let's say you've been doing certain kinds of theater, but you're starting a new kind of theater. And of course, you're gonna suck at first. Maybe on your second or third or fifth try, you will suck, and it's fine. We all have different learning timelines, and it's absolutely okay to take your time to learn.
I think sometimes when you're making the fool out of yourself, you're actually inspiring people to make the fool
fools
out of
out of
themselves as
themselves.
well. You know what? This is something that I've sort of been doing. I've started posting more on social media, and I started doing that because I just wanted to have fun, learn how to enjoy doing that, not for someone's approval. Like, because social media is for your self-expression. I keep hearing that phrase and I'm like, why not? I feel like posting that random stuff.
And to be
Why
seen,
would I not?
yeah.
Recently, I've received a feedback from one of my friends. She said, when sometimes I post something and I feel like it's cringe, I just remember that Victoria, in me, she doesn't care. She just posts whatever she wants. It helps her to post whatever she wants because who cares? No one gives a shit about whatever you're posting.
They might give a shit for like 5 seconds, but then they will move on with their lives. Think about all the posts that you like watched on a daily basis. How many of those do you actually remember? I mean, I'm sure you do remember some, but not all of them. And it's totally fine. And I definitely agree with you in this regard. Like, it is for self-expressions. People will say things. People will judge you. It's impossible to be liked by everyone. Some people will think you are a stupid idiot. And some people will be like, oh, I'm so inspired by you. You just gotta have the guts and courage to be unapologetically yourself. And people will be like, oh, social media is for people who just want to indulge and they just love themselves too much. I mean, what's the problem of me loving myself or trying to self-express? I'd rather do that than something for self-harm, because this is a creative energy and it has to go somewhere. We all are creators to an extent. Yes, I can suppress that energy, but it's going to turn into something much worse later on. When it comes to social media, I'm also afraid to express myself. I don't even care about likes and impressions, more about reaching the right audience. Like if I'll have few people who are theater creators here and they want to do something together or want to connect, yeah, sure. I don't really care so much about the volume as the quality itself. And so far, I have been able to reach some creative people, but I do still feel like it's not enough. I still need to reach more people that
And you will, like, you absolutely
who
will,
care.
because, like,
Yeah,
you
you just
keep
have to
doing,
persist. You have to be
yeah, and you,
unapologetic. Like, I'm still afraid to be unapologetic to myself. I'm still afraid, like, oh, what, I'm going to say some bullshit. I don't even know what kind of rock bottom I have to hit in my life so that I'm like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm just going to go in and express myself to the extent that I want to. And I don't fucking care what people think of me. I feel like I do have certain image in front of different even friends of mine. And only recently I started realizing that actually I do not stand to that image. And the reason is like, it's not
because you
because I'm trying to
change.
hide something, but because I change and they haven't been with me every single day of my life to see that change. So they obviously stick to that image of me that I used to have.
You cannot blame people for them having their subjective opinions based on the information that they have and their experiences in life and whatever they believe in. But you do have a choice how to react towards that. And if you're being subjected towards whatever other people are saying and thinking, of course, you would probably not going to be able to embrace necessarily the imposter syndrome and level up, because you level up when you are aligned with who you are. And usually it comes with an expanse of people not understanding why you're doing or judging you behind your back. But the point is, who cares? Like, even with social media posting, whatever people are going to think about me, people who are inspired to create as well, people who have created stuff themselves. Have you ever thought about it? People who actually created stuff, they do not judge you for trying to make something
They
of your
know
own.
how
And
difficult
usually
it
the
is.
ones
Yeah.
who judge are the ones who are like,
Don't do
I
anything.
haven't seen you doing shit. Like, I haven't seen you doing anything. You just sit there and tell people that's like you're not good looking enough, or you're saying some bullshit. Oh, have you seen her doing that and that? And so my brain is filtering out people who want to be more expressed. And I want to surround myself with people better than me in some regards, that I actually get inspired by them.
I feel like I have also unfortunately been on the side of a squad that was judging somebody from my surroundings starting a blog. It's like, even if you're doing some cringe shit, but if that cringe makes you happy and you find your audience, sure, go for it. And I realized that I was wrong judging those people because I guess I wasn't also doing and putting myself out there. Some people might see, but like what you're doing is actually not cringe, but that person, what they're doing is cringe.
Yeah.
But you ask another person, they will see the same thing, but vice versa. Whatever I'm doing is cringe for them, but whatever that
Yeah.
person is doing is not cringe.
Yeah.
It's also more about them. So yeah, and I realize that I don't want to be so judgmental towards what other people are doing and how they are expressing themselves. But yeah, I know this sounds like first world country problems, but
Yeah,
that's what I
like-
keep making fun of sort of in my videos. I'm like, yeah, first world country problems. Like I couldn't find the theater that could accept me.
But at the same time, if you
know.
think about it, if we want to make the world a better place, it all starts on a personal level. And literally by you just living your life, and I don't know,
Helping
like, I don't
people
think
around
that's
you.
selfish necessarily to be happy. I'm not saying not being aware of what's going on in the world. I'm saying to be expressed is actually contagious, and your happiness is contagious. You can make someone's day better. Being yourself, being funny,
Yeah.
like whatever you're doing, you can be inspiring. You gotta know you're not gonna be liked by everyone, and that's amazing, because if you are liked by everyone, you are trying to fit in, bet you're miserable. I
Oh
bet
yeah,
you
you're
are.
like fitting different masks and you don't even know
Yeah.
yourself because it's
And
impossible to be liked by everyone.
That's like, yeah, by the end of the day, yeah, you might be surrounded by people and everyone seems so nice towards you, and then you come home and you lie down and you feel completely depressed because guess what? You are not you. You are not being loved for who you
Yeah,
are. And
that
so,
happens.
yeah, I mean, literally a couple of months ago, made a decision that I want to be unapologetic and I want to never shrink myself again. And, acquaintance of mine said that phrase, which was more related to romantic context, but I think it sort of is relatable to everything in life, in every area of your life. So basically, he said that just because you are alive, just because you exist, that means that there is someone who would get you, for whom you would not need to compromise your personality, with whom you would vibe. So there is something prepared for you. Stay curious, be curious. Like, I wasn't planning to talk about it, but when you're feeling depressed, and I have been there, just remember, keep curiosity alive. There's always something that you don't know. There's always something that is yet to be revealed to you. So stay
And this
curious,
yet to
have an
make you
open mind.
happy to an
Yeah,
extent.
like you don't have to necessarily, wake up with this an amazing energy. In the beginning of the day, I don't know enough to dissolve in this reality of nothing good is coming my way. Like, you don't know enough. Curiosity is literally a healing mechanism for anything, because when you're curious, you start to pursue things. When you start to pursue things, you learn something, you become better, and suddenly a new avenue comes your way. Your perspective on things becomes broader. When we talk about the imposter syndrome, I feel like we always talk about something, the bigger change that is happening in your life, the move of cities, countries, new job, and etc. But it can be like anything on a daily basis. Like, you wake up. Today I woke up and I had the task job, which seemed to me like something I've never done before, and it overwhelmed my brain. And then I was like, oh God, I should not be that overwhelmed. I already done something like this before. But then I was like, I will bring whatever I can bring. I will do my best. I should chill out. Don't put such a pressure on that huge ass task, and just do whatever I
And break
can.
it down,
Yeah,
actually,
and guess
right,
what?
into
Actually,
smaller
like,
parts.
yeah, I did not bring necessarily a good result as far I understood, but I
But
just
it was
received
your
like a
first
feedback.
try, and like the
Yeah,
next time you do it, it's going to get better and better and better eventually. If you keep on doing the same thing, you're
yeah.
building these new neuron connections.
Yeah, but for me, I did that task and I was like, actually, I'm kind of proud of myself because I did better than I thought I would. So it's more of my personal win. What helped me is stop avoiding that task, because if you do avoid the task, that task controls you
I
and
know.
you give too much value towards it. And so you're like not moving anywhere with that. And what I've learned is that if you would want to overcome that pressure, you need to literally embrace that imposter syndrome. You need to go fully in, because when you
Yeah.
dive into that new thing, you actually become so much more powerful and confident, and so much faster than you would think you would usually do. It usually takes lots of time, because when you're just like stepping into the water and just staying on the like on at the shore, you need to go like
Mm-hmm.
dive.
So how should we summarize everything? So if you're experiencing an imposter syndrome, what should you do?
I think one of the things that you should remember is that when you're starting something new, always remember that you will get better. As long as you keep going, you will get better.
No input, no output.
Yeah. And I think the second thing is that you should change your outlook on experiencing imposter syndrome, because experiencing imposter syndrome doesn't mean that you are necessarily a fraud. I think vice versa. It means that you are worthy of where you are, because whatever you did before actually brought you to that place where you are now. And that is magical. That is amazing. That means that you've leveled up. And so you should be thrilled about it. I think you should be looking towards it. And also, before this episode, I was thinking about this whole topic of imposter syndrome, and the thought that came to my mind, I literally circled it in my notes, is that people who are living their best lives are feeling like imposters every single day. Because whenever you feel like an imposter, that means you've leveled up. And when you leveled up and then you became better at something, you probably want to become even better at something else. And so you force the imposter syndrome again on yourself. So it's not a bad thing. That's like super cool if you're going through that. So take
Yeah,
pride in that. That's my advice.
I was gonna say the same thing actually. It's like go in there, go into an imposter syndrome. Like security has no element of transformation. So, which means that if you want to transform your life, if you want to change something, you have to go into something that's uncomfortable. Maybe that is common sense, but I needed to remind myself of that. So when I heard that phrase, I actually made a voice memo for myself. And then whenever I feel like, oh, I don't want to go to a certain event because I feel like an outsider, or I feel like I'm scared, I feel anxious, I just keep on listening to that voice notes and I'm like, Mira, you can do it. And it's good that you're feeling this way. It means something is changing in you. And I go to the event and then I come back and then I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm happy that I went there. I did feel uncomfortable to an extent, but I learned something new today. And I applied that knowledge somewhere else later on. I went to the Canada Theatre Day celebration a few weeks ago, and I did not expect to create any content, but I kind of was just like filming here and there. And then I just did this very short story, Canada Theatre Day account, reposted it, and then two other organizers of this event also reposted it. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't expect that to happen. So there's no transformation in security. So you need the right level of discomfort, and actually feeling imposter syndrome implies that.
And it also, as you said, like it got you into the flow. So basically,
It
it seems
did,
as you're
yeah.
pushing through, but you're just like
You're
getting into
pushing
the
through because
water,
you're
and then the waves
scared,
start
yeah.
to bring you further and further.
Honestly, to be completely honest, sometimes I go to the events where that I don't feel like I belong there. I can't even start a conversation with someone and it feels like a total waste of time. But you never know if you never try. I'm still thankful for these experiences because now at least I know I'm not guessing. It's like, oh, what would have happened if I, went there? Now I know. And that's the best thing. And yeah, you will feel weird. You will feel imposter syndrome, but go and do it. Whatever.
Whenever you think you're experiencing imposter syndrome, just realize that everyone in this room most likely is experiencing imposter syndrome every single day.
I also realized that there's a difference. You can be telling yourself, oh, I feel like an imposter. I feel like an imposter all the time, but you're not actually doing anything to change that. You're not going into that syndrome in a way. Then yeah, nothing's going to change in your life because no input, no output.
Okay, that was a Cross the Time Zones episode about embracing the imposter syndrome, and we're literally across the time zones. We have like 7-hour difference. We hope that has resonated with you in any way, and if it did, please let us know in the comments and share your experience. Have a great day, and we'll see you in a week. Bye.
Bye.